Hello and welcome. This is Cacti Twig. We're doing a video review, film study of the Gabe Blade vs. Team 6, which I'm wondering if that team even is ever going to have a name before the season ends. Good with cameras, nice. There we have it. So the perspective of this is I'm going to try to focus on a downfield defense as far as positioning, because this is a really good learning league. So a lot of times, newer players, I'll just arbitrarily say, newer players are finding themselves asking themselves like, "Hey, I just gave up a big gainer. What could I have done different to help make that not happen?" So I'm just going to try to focus on that perspective there. Oh, and there's subtitles. Okay, whatever. So yeah, and again, I'm not going to try to over comment on too much of the like raw reactions, but again, I don't come in with like a solid plan. You guys know that at this point. So yeah, so after the turn here, it's common to have a little bit of trouble adjusting after a turn. But this is another thing that I commented on myself doing it before, is excuse me, the offense here after making a pass. A good thing to do as a handler is to make a very quick strike or just a quick movement there, because it's very tempting for a defender to go back on their heels and just like visually look to see what the pass is doing. And you'll notice that the receiver's hips are now pointing this way and the defender's hips are pointing this way. So in order to catch up, you see he had to rotate his hips around, and now you have this huge separation, which allows a free pass up line. And I'm not sure if there's too much downfield. I guess I'm trying to focus more downfield. One thing is, with Johnny, it's kind of hard right here. It's kind of hard to stay honest on him because he's got he's a deep threat. He's got a lot of vertical, but I think it was just a good pass and a good way to gain yards there. So I don't think there's anything too much. These subtitles are subtitles. I think maybe when I downloaded the video, I might have selected something for that. One thing that Gabe's team is really good at is immediately fielding pulls and starting with good field position. They are very consistent on doing that. One thing I want to point out here that Kevin does well, Kevin being with the hat right here, is that Kevin does not take the bait here. So Kevin has they're doing a forehand force, which in this case, I think the people are over here. So this is the home side of the field, and this is the break side of the field. So there we go. So basically what Kevin wants to do is make sure that there are no uncontested passes from the receiver going out this way. And I'm very inconsistent on my line color, so I'll try to be better at that. So whenever this cut starts happening right here, Elliot being the receiver here, Elliot makes a fake cut in this way to set it up, but Kevin doesn't bite on it. It's tempting sometimes to like try to like pounce on things, but you really only want to pounce on throws that you think are happening and not concede your leverage entirely. Where Kevin's ready, if Kevin sees his hips turn, he'll go with them, but Kevin does a good job of staying disciplined and not biting. And you can see right here, this is something that Kevin taught me this really well, is that you keep your eyes on their hips, because hips don't lie, and that wherever the person's hips are going is where they are physically capable of going. To turn somebody's hips in a different direction takes a lot of effort, a lot of energy, and a lot of time. So that will buy you time to react. So keeping your eyes locked on their hips will help you. And then right here, there's just a good break throw, but that's totally fine. As a defense, we're fine with that. As a downfield defender. And then, yeah, I'm going to do as much as I can with the camera angles allowing. Just making observation here. Maybe a slightly less blurry frame. Okay, here we go. So as a downfield defender, defender here, receiver here, you generally don't want your receiver to get behind you very much, if at all. So right here, then, I would prefer to have the defender be closer up here. Even if, and when I do my game, I'll comment on sometimes I intentionally broke that rule, and one time got my lunch eaten for it. But in general, you don't want to concede this much space, because if the receiver catches it and then throws a strong quick throw in there. It's just, you just don't have time to make that up, even if you do have a speed advantage. So like right here, this is pretty open. So the adjustment I would make, and it's okay, these mistakes happen. You know, it's hard. This game's fast paced, and as you're learning, you know, so I'm not worried about that. But as a defender here, I would want to stay closer, even if I have a speed advantage. Stay closer. That's definitely yeah, where I'd focus on. The throw doesn't go up because there's a poach in the lane, which I'm not sure who this guy was. I think, yeah, I'm not sure who this guy was. This is a good poach. No, almost got his foot in. I don't think his foot was in though. Yeah. Oh wait, no, it does. Okay, never mind. That was a D. All right, I don't know what happened there. Yep. So Kevin's doing a really great job on the mark, and I don't over talk about the mark in this. It's just sometimes you can't really see the downfield, so it's hard to sit here in silence. Kevin's doing a really good job. Kevin being the mark is doing a really good job of not allowing throws to that break side. You see, this is exactly what I was talking about in my last video. Instead of leaning, Kevin shuffled his feet, so he's staying like upright with that bent knees. So he's not leaning and just flailing for it. And then as it comes back, he just shuffles right back, and is just very good for harassing it. And ooh, good defense by Johnny getting in there. Just based on where I paused it, he might have bumped his hand. Looks like he might have gotten a piece of hand there, but I guess I haven't seen this. I'm just reacting. But yeah, he's calling that. Regardless, though, really high effort by both of them. So I'm sure that's gonna be a spicy matchup for the rest of the thing. So yeah, that should go back. I'm gonna skip ahead, and I imagine they're gonna figure that. Yeah, yep. So okay, he got a piece in the hand. That's fine. Regardless, I'm not upset. I wouldn't be upset about it if someone on my team made that foul. It's like, you know what, you're playing. Oh, sorry, I'm not. This is disorganized. That was a crazy circus catch. But yeah, no. At the same time, for somebody making a high effort play like that, as long as you're not intentionally fouling somebody, like that's a totally fine foul to happen. It happens. It's part of the game. Gets his hand on the hand block and gets a crazy one-handed snag there. That's dirty. It's a grab and a half. Yeah, there it is. So yeah, and again, the pass that Johnny just gave up as a downfield defender, right here, is pretty okay. I'm imagining that Johnny was keeping a deep leverage on Gabe because Gabe is a major deep threat, and it's kind of a thing where it's like when I'm setting up my leverage, because Ultimate's a rigged sport and good offense will beat perfect defense. Kind of ask yourself if I would rather be at a disadvantage during. Wait a second, let me try to be consistent with my colors here. Okay, yellow's offense. Be consistent during would you rather be at a disadvantage during a huge downfield throw or during a 7 or 8 or 9 yard loss? You know what I mean? So I guess it was good safe defense. You don't want to concede points right away. At least make them work for it. Yep. And one thing that I've commented on this a couple times, as far as Johnny being there, Johnny's in a decent spot here. The reason that he's doing this poach here, is that the disc is on the break side of the field. So once again, the open space is right here. This is the open space because the force is home. So with the home force, then the disc being on the break side, there's a very large open space. And if the disc moves to the home side of the field, that's okay. We're okay with that as a defense. So what Johnny's doing is getting in that lane with his body, just getting in that lane and being just disruptive. He's conceding this throw to the force side. But once that throw goes up, then the idea is this poaching defender will sprint over here and immediately set up another mark. So the idea is at the end of the day, at the end of that interaction, it was a net loss of yardage and the net travel towards that forced sideline. So you can see before, this was the open space, and afterward, this would be the open space. And so it's a more advantageous situation. I think right here, Johnny could have committed. This is a common thing to do. I do it a lot too. I'll during my video, so it's an easy thing to do. But as you're sitting there thinking about it, because in real time, this has been like a second and a half since when I started talking about it. Right now, Johnny's in what we call no man's land, where at this particular position, the offense can throw a pass to Gabe for free, or can throw up line for free. So it's easy to do, but in general, what I'm trying to get better at myself is to be more committed. Like, am I poaching or am I playing tight defense? Because you can't do both. So you see here, a pass does go up. Johnny was close to it, but at the same time, you know, he was in no man's land, so it kind of just allowed everything to come up. And let me go back just a second, see if I can get a good look at what was going on downfield. Yep, so right here then, once again, we have as a defender, we have a disadvantage here in position for the deep threat. So we have the receiver here, the defender here, and the defender is like underneath, enforcing under, or forcing deep right now. So that, you know, for any unders, trying to be better with my lines, for unders, she has to go through him. It's going to be much harder, if not impossible, for her to make an under. But for a deep throw then, if the offense throws a deep throw, the defender is going to be at a disadvantage, having to make up that time, make up that ground. So in this particular instance, I would prefer to see a little bit more to the force side and a little bit higher up. So, you know, standing right about here, knowing that wherever she goes, excuse me, you're going to be able to contest it immediately. Which the throw comes up. Let me see if that was actually open. Yeah, so and then right here you see that, and this is another common thing, and this is actually why we hold a force, if you ever want, another reason, if you're wondering, like, why do we even do this? And again, I'm not trying to dog on anybody here, like, it's hard to learn, but the defender here is reacting to the receiver. So the receiver is moving, the defender's watching, and then after she starts moving, then he starts reacting to it. So the reason that's disadvantageous is because now when she's moving, at the point the throw comes up, you can see now the defender is on the break side. The defender is on the break side, you know, the line, you know, being here, which means that a pass to the forced side of the field, which Kevin is going to allow to come up because he's forcing home. That throw is going to be a accurate, quick pass with tempo. You know, because if it's going to be a break side throw, it's not going to be quick. It's not going to be as accurate. It's not going to have as much tempo. So we are okay with having worse position there. But for these throws here, it's dangerous. Now, yeah, the throw's a little off, I think, or maybe there's a miscommunication between them. But that's just the coaching point as far as that goes. Offense is starting in a side stack right now. They're off screen, but pretending to translate upfield. Shoot, I'm doing the wrong colors. All right, here we go. No, yellow's offense. Okay, so the offense is going to be standing like this, except obviously farther downfield, and then the defense is going to be like roughly like here-ish. And the idea is then it opens up this entire space. So we should see a pass coming in right here, and not quite open though. Can't even see who that was because it's too blurry. Probably Gabe and Johnny, but yeah, no, really good defense there. They get in the way of that. I think that was just a really high effort play. Yep, so right here, force is home, which is going to be right-handed flick. So we can see a perfect example. Right-handed flick. So the force is home. So the mark is positioning himself to take this side of the field away. We don't want throws going up there for free, but throws going, turn on my thing. Throws going this way are okay from a mark's perspective. Yep. So the only thing that kind of happened here was the defender stopped and kind of kept protecting the end zone and conceded that under here, which I'm not going to say is inherently a horrible thing because you don't want to take the bait and get roasted on some like crazy like IO throw or whatever. But that's the only thing where it's like you kind of let him get a little far on the force side, but also force side, end zone defense is hard. So I'm not gonna hate on it. And that was kind of just forcing it more than it needed to be forced. The good thing about offense, I guess, in front of the end zone, and this is something that our team had to work on in the league. In this situation here, if it's stalled, because you're on the four-side sideline, just get it off the sideline. You can swing it all day, just So if I'm the mark here, I'm gonna physically turn my body, make eye contact with Gabe, and Gabe's gonna make a cut for me, either a strike, and then back, or if the defender is poaching off here, he might just come right around for that free pass there. Just get it off the sideline, because as you swing it across the field, good things happen. And the reason being, I guess I'll pause at a later moment and talk about this in more detail, maybe in this next possession, but the offense has better field awareness than the defense, and that is something that swinging the disc horizontally actively takes advantage of. Yep, so just keeping the disc moving. No need to force anything. That was a scary throw. Nope, it worked. Never mind. I think maybe my perspective of the sideline was a little biased from the camera sitting on top of it. I think that probably wasn't as close to the sideline as it looked like. That was a throwaway. Again, I don't see anything too crazy other than, we want to keep not too far under. We always want to stay pretty close to our receiver. There are very few times when you really want to allow the receiver to get far away from you. You kind of always want to be at least close to contest those. And Gabe being Gabe, that's what Gabe does. He puts his body on the line for his team. Maximum effort at all times. By both Johnny and Gabe, that's been a really entertaining matchup. Yeah, that's an entertaining matchup. I think that was in. Yeah, it was in. It was close, but yeah. No, I'm sure that's gonna be an entertaining matchup going on. Yeah, again, it's hard with the camera angle to try to. I'm not trying to blame the cameraman. Just for what I'm specifically trying to watch here. Yep, and then right here, I'll make a comment here as far as like a good forced side defense. As a defender, so right here, the force is home. Home being the sideline here, right? We're good on that. So the open space is here. That's your open space, which is that green too hard to see? Let me know in the comments if the green's too hard to see. But as a defender, here's the defender, here's the receiver. The receiver is making a cut to the break side, and the tempting thing for defenders to do is to over pursue to the break side so that the receiver can just come back for free. So really good job by Gabe. I think he might have stumbled slightly, but he slammed on the brakes and said, I'm not going to chase you all the way over here. Because if the offense makes a pass over here, they have to go through the mark. I have help. And actually, I think they might have been commenting on that good defense by Gabe, because that was good defense. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just saying things. Because you could think, well, we just gave up a free pass. But now the disc is on that forced sideline. So the open space is restricted to this tiny little strip. And that's super hard to work with. And that's definitely a win. Yep, really good mark by Elliott to not let that around come up for free. They had to lose a ton of yards to get it off the sideline. And that is definitely what we want. Yep, other than that, it's good defense as far as throws. The offense is getting throws off, which is always preferred, but the defense isn't conceding anything major. They're staying close to their receivers, and that's definitely what we want. What they're doing. As far as the defense here, the only real thing is that I think Elliott and Gabe were bracketing a little bit, and they might have had a little bit of a miscommunication on who's going to stick with Kevin. So Kevin made a forced side cut, and right now both defenders are behind him, so we don't want to. That was the only thing that probably allowed Kevin to get his hand out there and get that catch. Could you see that Elliott's working from a disadvantage there and allows that completion, which is okay. It's again, end zone defense is hard, but that's kind of the coaching point there, just allowing that forced side throw to come off. Good defense working together, holding the force relatively well. In front of the end zone, I totally understand the desire to shade more of this. This throw here is kind of a scary throw in the big picture. Like, it's probably not at quite as high percentage, which is kind of a win for the defense. But also, it was a good throw. Kevin has that throw, so I don't want to say that was a bad throw. That was not a terrible throw or anything. I didn't see the throw, or see the foul, excuse me. But I also wasn't particularly watching because I was running my mouth. Oh, okay, I see. He must have hit his wrist or something. Okay, yeah, I didn't see it. Yeah, it's a foul. All right, a contested foul, which is fine. And sometimes people argue about plays, and it's like, you know, I don't know. There's never a point arguing about plays. It's like, if you don't agree with the foul, just say contest and it goes back. And that's kind of life. So right here, Elliot gets caught flat-footed. Once again, Kevin gets to that force side, which then allows it to come up, which feels bad if you're the defense, or good if you're the offense. So something to think about. But yeah, the biggest thing is for defense and ultimate, they're very, very simple fundamentals and very, very complemented or very complicated applications of them, where it's just like everything's changing very quickly. There are a million different contexts from which to apply it, but the fundamentals are very simple. So, you know, when in doubt, I would say try not to overthink it too much. You know, I don't want them to catch it on the force side of the field. So, you know, I'm going to do what I can as a downfield defender. I don't want this pass to go off to the force side of the field. So I'm going to get my body in the way and not let it. That's actually a perfect example. Thank you, whoever did that. So right here, it's like, you know, the force is home. So I know the open space is here. As a defender, I don't want, you know, as a defender, I don't want my receiver to make a catch on that side of the field. So if a pass comes up, I'm going to try to position myself to take it away. He was a little bit behind and kind of reached out in there, but this, you know, the core principle applies. So, you know, at the end of the day, you know, don't panic, don't overthink it, don't be afraid of making mistakes. It's totally okay. Ooh, scary one-handed catch. Oh, don't do it. See, this is it. They've had a lot of head injuries in this league. People are just not afraid of the wall. People need to be more afraid of that wall. I don't know. I'll give up a point if I'm just like, I'm not dying for this. Yep, and then nothing too crazy there. Just handler offense is kind of a different beast. Good defense there. The throw kind of hung, so it gave the defense time to catch up. Excuse me. So right now, force is away. So yeah, the disc is on the force sideline. Good throw. Those throws feel bad when it's a high blade. You want to try to, as a defender, not over pursue it. So a rule of thumb, you know, just kind of like a, you know, approximation of what it's going to be. You take a look at the disc in the air, and you draw a line along the face of the disc like this, and wherever it touches the ground is ballpark where it's going to land. You know, in this case, in this case here, you can see that Johnny catches it, which is good for him. But if you can kind of, based on like the trajectory, if the disc were to continue, it would land somewhere around here-ish. It's not perfect because because the disc does have air drag and stuff, but you can kind of see like the disc. That's how you want to read it. So it's really easy. And actually, during my game, I actually got smoked by Allison doing this. But, you know, you assume the disc is flat and you jump up for it, assuming it's flat and it's going to come, you know, you think it's going to come straight down, but it's actually coming down at that angle. And that's what gets behind his hands. And that's what gets him then out of position, which, you know, and that's why good offense beats perfect defense. Because, you know, even if you've done everything right, the offense can just make you wrong, which, you know, it's part of the game. It's all good. Yeah, I try to never be too upset about getting scored on defense because it happens. I just try to stay principled and, you know, trust in the process. So right here, unfortunate from the defense here. The disc is on the forced sideline. The force is away. So in theory, this is your open space. But in practice, the defender was downfield more. I think maybe helping some kind of poach. And we see here, as the defender comes in, he comes in and steps to that forced side. When what I would like to see is a priority on coming around and sealing. So like when I'm on the field and I'm trying to talk to people, I'll yell seal, seal, seal. And I'm not talking about the cute animal. I'm trying to say, like, seal off that break side throw. Get all the way around here and don't allow that throw, and you know, keep them trapped on that sideline. So by the fact that he took that extra step over, it means they could get it right off the sideline, which was, you know, that's huge for this point then. Makes it a lot easier for them to live. Puts it right back on the sideline. But yeah, once again, the throw can come right back out, so they're not letting themselves get too trapped. But then they throw it away anyway, so that's fine. But again, that's kind of the thing where it's like, that's kind of like the process. Because as a defense, like I've said, we force low percentage passes. So looking at this, I'll tell you, this is kind of your open space. I guess time to get farther. Like, this is your open space. But the throw, you know, the receiver's cutting to the break side, so that throw is going to be much more difficult. It's not going to be as accurate. It's not going to have as you know, precise of tempo, and that is what leads to a lower percentage throw because he had to throw around the mark. So the fact that the Vince was off, you know, was behind on that is actually okay, because he had poor leverage for a poor throw. And that's how it kind of balances out. So that was good defense. That was great defense. And that is actually why we played the game right there, baby. That's why we played the game. But so yeah, that was good. And that's kind of why you trust in the process. Whenever the disc is on the forced sideline as a defender, that's when you want to commit everything you have left to really nail that down, ratchet it down, because it makes it very difficult for an offense. Ooh, did you catch that? No, break throw. Oh yeah, so that was a break throw. And you can also see that the throw wasn't as accurate because he had to go through that. So it was bladey. He didn't have as good of a chance to aim it. So, you know, having not as good of leverage that way is good. I'm pointing with my hand and not with my mouse. So that was thoroughly unhelpful in my body language. And that was unfortunate. Or fortunate, depending on who you're rooting for. All right, so we have some... We're not really quite focusing for these throws here. I say we, I'm not on all of these teams, but yeah, in these situations, what I like to really do is just as a handler, be like, I'm gonna look off some cutters unless they're like real, you know, unless they're actually like really open, and just kind of like, let's slow it down, let things settle in a little. So yeah, that was good. Somebody's talking about being blazed in the subtitles. All right, anyway, I'll try not to be distracted. So right here, this is actually a clever thing you can do on defense. You're not allowed to double team. You're not allowed to have, while putting a stall on, you cannot have two defenders within 10 feet of the thrower. But if the receiver takes you into that space, you're allowed to be in that space. So while he was actively guarding her. Now, is this close enough to her for that to count? Probably. I don't actually know the letter of the law, but as a rule, that's good defense, a smart defense getting in the way there because your receiver pulled you there and allowed you to. And oh, he slips. You hate to see it, but it's okay. Again, you're forcing the offense to be uncomfortable. Flipping the force there, unfortunate. If you want to stay disciplined with your force at all times, even if it feels silly. At least at a league level, I would say, in my opinion, you want to stay rigid and uncompromising with that. So like right here, that was a break throw. So the fact that this, nope. Oh, I hit the back button. Okay, sorry. Anyway, so the fact that this defender here was offline of there is totally fine because that was a break side throw. So that's kind of, you know, it's all good. And that was good on Gabe. Gabe had the opportunity to make a play on this disc. Chose not to because he doesn't want to get in the way and cause extra contact and just make it all like super sweaty, you know, because like there's a lot of cases like that where it's like, you know, like I could probably make a play on the disc, but I also don't want to play like that because it's just league, you know, we're playing to have fun. So that was good by Gabe to not do that. What on earth? Wait a minute, who's on offense? I think I don't know what happened there. I think maybe the throw's offline. Maybe it was like a stall 6 and he just had to get rid of it. I'm sure there was some reason for that. I just wasn't paying enough attention. It's kind of hard to keep paying attention. Right there, what happened is like I was saying before, you never want your receiver to get behind you if you can help it. Is that a gender mismatch? With a gender mismatch, it's extra brutal. I can't tell it. Yeah, so that's extra brutal with a gender mismatch. But yeah, same principle applies. So yeah, and I think Johnny was starting to come back to try to help. But if there is a gender mismatch, then the core principle is that the last male back is going to be the one ideally that you wouldn't allow that to happen, and you just like concede an under. But it's, you know, with fives you're a little bit more spread out, so it's kind of hard. Oh, I'm skipping. Oh, I was doing a tiny skip there. That's why. Okay. Yeah, again, I'm trying to focus on downfield defense, but it's hard because you can't really see as much. And I think Gabe just missteps it here. Yeah, didn't quite get his jump off. Was that in? I think that was in. Yeah, it's in. Okay, yep, so right here, trying to get a good look at where things were. Yeah, and this is another thing that I try to focus on. Oh, never mind, that was a defense. Okay, never mind, that was great defense. I thought that was reversed. Yeah, great defense. Yep, so it's okay, like right here, it's okay for the mark to cheat, but you don't want to let that break side throw come off. And that's the only thing that you want to be careful about. Getting the hammers up. Our team was like over 4 on hammer passes, but that one works out. Trying to get some redemption from his other one, so good for him. It was probably a high stall before, though. So I'll give the benefit of the doubt there. That's what it looked like. Then right here, the force is away. So then downfield, we don't want to give up free deeps, and we don't want to give up free four-side passes. Miscommunication there as far as... yeah, this is a miscommunication here where as Gabe's coming in, there's no mark. So as this is coming here, the thrower assumed, because this is actually something I had a turnover in our game for this. Receiver here, defender here. So the thrower assumed that Gabe was going to put on the brakes. Sorry, my cat's hitting my cord from my mouse. Okay, so the thrower assumed that the receiver was going to make a cut away from the defender, so the defender definitely cannot get to it. Whereas in reality, the receiver is making a cut more to gain yards there. So that's unfortunate. And that's something where after the point, if that happens, I like to talk to the other person and say, hey, in that exact situation, what do you want me to do? Or I would say, in this situation, this is what I want to do here, and just get on the same page. Because that's just a simple chemistry thing, you know. You see it coming in, you just clean that right up, no problem. You know, because they both know what's going on the field. They just weren't on the same page. So, and those are things that you try not to beat yourself up over, because, you know, you can just talk it out and get that figured out. Yep, so force is home. And yeah, it was Johnny. It's hard because you can't just play perfectly principled and take that away, because you can just take everywhere. And that's actually another perfect example of why we hold a force, because that's a break side throw. It's an inverted throw. It's a hammer. It's not quite accurate. It's a little high. It's just harder to catch, and that's what leads to a turnover. You know, a decent percent of the time they catch it. You know, maybe 30% of the time they complete it. I think from what I've seen in the game. But, you know, the other 2 out of the 3 times, it's a win for the defense. You want to force low percentage passes. Yep, so good job setting. Trying not to get those breaks up. We want to keep that going. Not sure where the defense is there. So, yeah, so right here, what I want to see from the defender, no matter what, I don't want to see too much separation. You know, even if you don't want them to go deep, unless you have like a horrendous mismatch, you want to be close enough to contest passes. I'll try to find a good example of it. Yeah, and another hammer there where it's like, you know, it's lower percentage, and if you're gonna get beat on something, those are the ones that like I can live with getting beat on. So it's possible they're doing a straight up mark on purpose out of the set play. It's something that we need to do more. If you got the good thrower ready to go, you want to be able to take that away. But in general, we want to hold our force. Maybe right here, we want to hold our force a little better. But that is a force side throw. Yeah. So right here, then, I guess to talk about this, since I'm not trying to be too quiet, I'm just trying to see downfield here. So, oh, okay, I see what happened. Okay, never mind. That was totally fine. So what happened here is good offense by the green team. So the throws here. There's a receiver here. There's a receiver here, and for whatever unfortunate reason, there's only one defender here. So the defender is split. So if that ever happens, what you generally want to do is you guys want to cut away from each other. And you want to force that defender to choose somebody. Because you can't guard two people at once unless they're standing in the same space. So by spreading out, this is actually good recognition by the defender. He recognizes, hey, the forced space is here. So if they're going to make a pass to that forced side, it's going to be free. So I'm going to take away the most imminent threat because this throw is coming up for free. And good recognition to holster that throw and come right back and get a higher pass to the break side of the field. You see, instead of being a line drive, flat, easy to catch pass for free that the mark is not going to be as able to stop, it was a super high inverted throw up here that gave the defender a little bit more time to come there and be intimidating and is much harder to catch. Good job securing the catch, but lower percentage passes. Disciplined defense by the defender. Great job. You know, if I'm a captain or if I'm just a leading player on the team, I'm going to go to him afterward and be like, pat him on the back and be like, hey, that was you did it right there. Because that's, you know, did it right. You get negative feedback when you get scored on, but the positive feedback is you made them throw the harder throw, the lower percentage throw. So you know, as Kevin's team, or Team 6, I'm happy with that as well. I'm not happy with the fact that that was open and somebody was isolated, but once they were stuck isolated, there you are. You know, I think that is one of the big coaching points. As defenders, downfield defenders, we want to stay closer to our receivers. We don't need to get quite as excited and try to like poach all this extra space. And that was a nasty, nasty defense right there. Oh man. Yeah, so that was just crazy. Good job. I mean, people make me nervous getting close to the wall, but I do too, so I guess I can't complain too much. That was good defense. Did he chip him a little bit? Oh yeah, I think they were fake Johnny a little bit there. Yeah, I hate when that happens. I'm sure it wasn't intentional, but you know, whatever. Was there a foul call? I'm confused. Maybe a travel was called? I'm not sure what was called. Something was called. I'm gonna back up. Something was called. I'm not gonna bother sitting here and thinking about it. Yeah. So right now the force is away, which is towards the camera. Kevin's doing a good job not letting that break side throw. Keep them on the forced sideline. It's exactly what we want. Force an inverted, low percentage pass, which gets turned over. That's why we trust in the process. Downfield defense now, we're going to be forcing... wait a minute. Was that not... Oh, was that a completion? Okay, no. I don't know what happened. I got confused there. It's hard when you can't see. Full head of applause. All right, yeah, okay. We're gonna skip on that because I just didn't get a good look at it. I'm gonna try to keep more visual examples and maybe just try to bypass the things that are a little harder to see. Ooh, okay. So yeah, the coaching point here is whenever you are a handler, the off handler that doesn't have the disc, you kind of want to be the eyes for the thrower just a little bit. And you want to be careful about positioning yourself to gain too many yards and put the thrower in a position to make a mistake. This is one of those things I'm going to draw controversy on, but the pancake catch has failed us here. And this is actually a case where even if you're going to pancake everything, when you're in a high stress, time sensitive, space sensitive catching situation, you want to get those hands out in front of you and whatever you want to call it, crab catch it, rim catch it, alligator catch it. There's no consistent naming convention, but get those hands out. Because you see with the pancake, I couldn't stop. I'm not going to try. But with the pancake there, his hands were apart and let the defender get in there. But I mean, it's not it's not the end of the world. It was just yeah, throw shouldn't have gone up. But I mean, handlers throw the disc so much, it's going to happen. I love this defense right here. We can see the defender here blocking this space, blocking that forced side space. And she's saying, hey, if you're going to take this free, I'm going to try to keep this a little bit less clear. If you want to take this free pass to the forced side, do it. You're going to lose some yards. I'm going to come up here. Oops, darn it. Red's defense. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to reset that force and make it so there's even less of that end zone available to my team. Yep, good job coming up there. I like that defense. I like that. And it's kind of like you're poaching or you're not poaching. Those are the choices. And so right here, we see the receiver is here. The defender is here. So the defender has conceded the forced side of the field. What I would like to see is that receiver, or the defender come over and stand right over here. So that if this receiver wants to make a cut to the forced side, you're already in front of it, and they don't have that for free. And once again, we can see, and again, I'm not trying to pick on anybody once again, but I say once again, like 7 times in a row. So we can see the defender reacting to the receiver, where so the defender's eyes are, instead of being on the receiver's hips, the defender's eyes are on the disc. And as a result, when this cut starts, the defender reacts slowly and is well behind it. So that's pretty automatic as far as catches go. Granted to the wall there, but especially in outdoor, it's pretty automatic. So that's just the coaching point. You really want to stay on top of that downfield and just try to think less. Think less. You know, stay on the force side. Don't let those force sides come off. You know, even if you want to, especially as a beginner, don't be shy about over-exaggerating it. Over-exaggerate it. You know, people on your team, especially if you're in a positive league, they got your back. They'll teach you when you make a mistake. You know, just offer more mistakes if you can. And that was a sick cut right here. So yeah, Kevin goes in, slams on the brakes, comes right back. This is actually kind of called a 7 cut. It's kind of a backwards 7 cut. But the idea of a 7 cut is you'll make a cut one way, you'll slam on the brakes, and you'll come back. So it looks like a 7. Except this is kind of a backwards one. You know, traditionally, like in the end zone, you'll do it. But that's the idea of it, though. Force the defender to overcommit one way, and then you go the other. Kevin faked out the cameraman there. That was brilliant. Yep, so trying to keep the disc from getting to the swung, but that's okay. And once again, as I'm saying here, this is something that as you know, as newer players, it's easy to do. You get distracted, you get excited. But the receivers here, the defenders over here, you want to really want to stay close. And I think this actually is a good time. I'll talk about this. Instead of, how do I word this? Okay, so as a defender, it's common to think to yourself, I'm going to take away deep and concede unders. But instead think, I'm going to take away deeps and I'm going to contest the unders. So as a defender, I might position myself right here if I don't want my guy to go deep. So that if the defender or the receiver goes deep, I have that step advantage. But if the receiver does come under, I do want to be right behind it to contest it. Because basically what that does is it forces the offense to throw an accurate pass with proper tempo. And if she messes up the pass, like you see how that pass floated a little bit. I mean, it wasn't a bad pass, but just I'm trying to make my example here, so bear with me. This pass was not a line drive pass. It was it was a little floaty, a little wobbly. If there were a defender right here, which is whatever, there's a defender right here. I can't draw. The defender has a chance to get horizontal and make a play on that disc with whatever. Okay, I'm not going for my drawing anymore. But yeah, so as a defender, then you don't want to leave that much space. It's just going to lead to problems. Yeah, and the same thing here. We want to, as a defender, we want to stay nice and close right here. So as you know, right here, we want to be making up this ground quickly, so that if it throws offline right here, we're able to just disrupt it. We want to be disruptive. Yep. So here the force is home. So right here, the force should be away which is towards the camera. Don't see anything crazy there. That pass that got given up here was just a good fake that forced Johnny back on his heels. So nothing bad about that. That was totally fine. Ooh, almost got in the way of that. Oh, shoot. Oh boy. That I think he might have just slipped. Yeah, okay. It almost looked like Johnny threw him down. No, it looks like he might have just tripped across feet or something. So. Oof. And we'll call that for the first half. We're 45 minutes in. This is kind of quick. I kind of glazed over. I'll probably do part 2 tonight or tomorrow. Just kind of walk it through. This one wasn't quite as dense as my other ones, a little bit more empty space. So let me know if this is too boring. But I think the biggest takeaways are as a downfield defender, you want to play just play your true fundamentals first. Trust your position. Don't let them get to the force side of you, and stay nice and close to them. It is at very least being near where catches are happening. It's distracting to the receiver because he has to worry about you. So, yeah, maybe this one was a little more off topic than the other ones, but that's all I got. Peace.